Hello and welcome to iGolf, brought to you by Skyscanner. I'm Stewart and I'm here at the Buckinghamshire, a beautiful golf club nestled in West London that's also the home of the Ladies European Tour. We're here to chat to one of the most influential people in the sport, the CEO of the LET, Tom Phillips, who's just celebrated his first 100 days in the role. When Tom joined the team here, he brought with him extensive experience on the DP World Tour, the Faldo Series, plus time at the Hong Kong Golf Association. And he couldn't have started at a more exciting moment with LET events all over the globe and the Solheim Cup just around the corner. So what has Tom made of his first 100 days with the tour? How did his relationship with golf start? And most importantly, what are his plans to help take women's golf to the next level during his tenure here? So welcome to iGolf. Tom Phillips, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks, Di. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's great to be here at the Buckinghamshire. I'm super impressed. And there's been a renovation in 2024. I saw everybody look very happy as I walked through, about to play.
It's a lovely, lovely place, isn't it? Yeah, they did the Aurora family did a huge renovation, I believe, a couple of years ago. I'm obviously new to the LET, but the office has been here for forever, and we've had some tournaments here over the years as well. So very lucky to have this as our home.
Beautiful. I will be coming back again and again. I will
Please
be.
do.
Now, tell us, so you've got this new role, which is absolutely amazing. We'll speak about it in just a moment. But golf for you away from work, how often do you play? Can you enjoy yourself on a golf course?
Yeah, I think the short answer is I don't play much at the moment.
Bit busy.
I haven't played loads in recent years, but even less so as I've taken on this new role. Taking on this new role means I've moved back to the UK for the first time in 21 years. I've been away working in the Middle East and Asia before that. So I haven't had much of a chance. Also, my golf clubs, slight problem, my golf clubs are currently, with the rest of our stuff, on a ship, making its way back. And as you might imagine, things are taking longer than they should at the moment with everything going on in the Middle East.
21 years away from the UK. What's it like to be back?
Yeah, it's lovely to be back, actually. It's really nice. We never set to be away for so long. I remember we moved to Hong Kong in 2005. It was meant to be for 18 months. I was working with Sir Nick Faldo at the time, and I'm sure we'll get into it. But as I reminded Nick the other day, I left for 18 months, and 21 years later, I'm coming home.
So you blame him? Well, not blame him, because you probably had a very good time.
I thank him. I really do, because
yeah.
it's changed our lives, changed my life professionally, but our life as a family as well. Having that opportunity to live in some amazing places for that period of time, but equally lovely to be back in the UK.
Favourite place that you've lived in? Apart from the UK, we can put that to one side.
Hong Kong.
Really?
We loved Hong Kong. Yeah, we were there for 14 years. And
what was so special about it?
It is such a great city. It's a very international, cosmopolitan. There's a lot of energy there. Yes, there are a lot of people there, and the hustle and bustle. But actually, the beauty of Hong Kong is the minute you get away from Hong Kong Island, there are so many other parts of Hong Kong that the beaches and the mountains and the hills and the greenery and so on. So it's a magical place to live, but also right in the heart of Asia. So the opportunity to travel all around that part of the world and go to some amazing places around there was a real privilege.
And the food as well.
Love the food, yeah.
I would really like to try the food, because I'm really into anything sort of sushi-wise, or, you know.
Yeah, well, dim sum would be top of my list in terms of food. Love it, yeah.
Love dim sum,
but also the local food, but also international food, the restaurants and the bars, and, you know, there's so much to offer.
So much choice.
So much choice.
It's on my bucket list. Yeah, I've flown to Australia
I highly
quite a few
recommend
times and flown sort of via Seoul or Singapore, but Hong Kong is next on the list because of you now. You mentioned the Faldo Series, and that's what took you away in the first place, and you've worked for the DP World Tour. What differences have you seen around the globe in terms of golf and comparisons as well?
Yeah, look, I think the beauty of golf is it's this sort of wherever you go, there's golf courses, there's people play golf, people are happy to talk about golf. It's a sort of international language, isn't it?
Yeah.
Obviously, in certain parts of the world, and particularly in Asia, it was very much an emerging sport. So, some countries had been there for a long, long time, but you go to other countries and it's a relatively new sport. And then going to the DP World Tour, spending time, I then moved to Dubai to run the Middle East region for the DP World Tour, and that's what I've been doing for the last 7 years. So again, that was another opportunity for me to go from golf development space, Faldo Series, Hong Kong Golf Association, sort of growing golf to the peak of the sport with men's professional golf. So and then now coming to the ladies' professional game, and
It's quite a transition, isn't it?
It is, but do you know what? I think I've been more surprised by the similarities than the differences. What you have with the DP World Tour and you have with the Ladies European Tour is a global golf tour. Ladies European Tour, where 30 tournaments in 20 different countries, and a similar, slightly bigger even footprint for the men. But you are, traveling week by week to these amazing destinations, these wonderful golf courses. And with that sort of constant traveling around the world, you have this lovely family feel amongst the members.
Yeah.
You certainly have that with the men, and I would say even more so with the ladies. It's very much that family feel. Everyone's in it together, and everyone's excited to be on that journey.
Yeah. Have you enjoyed meeting all the different personalities on the Ladies European Tour?
Yeah, I really have. Yeah, I suppose one of the things that attracted me to the role, one of many things, is quite a few of them I'd known from my Faldo Series days. So they would have been much younger and just starting to make their way in the game. Yeah. But having known those players in the early days, I'd followed their journey and therefore had those touch points with them as and followed them as they went through the Ladies European Tour, and in many cases out the other side, and now working, whether it's in broadcast or management or whatever it may be. So yeah, some of them I knew, but many I didn't, but they've been so welcoming and really enjoyed getting to know them all.
That's lovely to hear. So it's been about 3 months now since you took
4
on the
months
role.
now.
4 months, okay.
Yeah.
Does it feel like you've not done anything else before? Because sometimes when you arrive in a job, it's like, oh, I feel like I've been here for a long time.
It has been a whirlwind. You're right. It's sort of, in one way, it's gone extremely quickly. But
yeah. It's amazing how the brain switches, though, to a new environment, doesn't it? And suddenly this is the norm now, to be CEO of the Ladies European Tour. What's the biggest surprise that you may have seen?
I think the biggest surprise has been so far the amount of travel I've been. I've been doing, and that's my own decision, my own choice, because of course these first few months is so important to really spending time with the players, but also with the promoters, with the team, with my own team, really starting to. It's a bit of a cliche, listen and learn, but it's true. You need to build those relationships. You need to understand the product. You need to understand what the opportunities are, what the challenges are. So that's been a big part of the last few months. Is really getting to understand what those opportunities are and how I can take those opportunities going forward.
When you talk about the players, obviously we've got the fans and then the brands involved, the partners involved. How do you keep the balance between everybody, keep everybody happy?
Yeah, I mean, those are the three kind of key groups of stakeholders that I've identified as we move forward as a tour. From the players, and they are all interlinked, 100%. So from the players' side, ultimately we're a players-led organisation. So I will be judged by prize money and playing opportunities. That's the priority for our membership. But I think it's a bit broader than that. It's also the platform that we're creating that allows these players to go out and perform to the best of their abilities. So whether it's the quality of the golf courses we are playing on, the services that we're providing around the golf courses for the players, support in terms of health and wellness and so on, the flow of the schedule. And also, yes, adding more tournaments where we can, but also making the tournaments that we have on the schedule are there for the long term. They are sustainable, they are growing, and will continue to grow and improve for many years to come. That's the sort of the player side. From the partners, it's look, we have some wonderful partners on the Ladies European Tour, but what can we be doing more with them to make sure they are getting more commercial value out of their partnership? But also we need to go out to market and bring more brands, more sponsors into the Ladies European Tour. We need to grow our commercial family, because ultimately, as a not-for-profit organisation, that investment allows us to put that back into the tour and keep growing. Again, comes back to prize money and playing opportunities.
Yeah. It's not an easy life a lot of the time for players travelling around, because it costs quite a lot of money. And if you're not in that top tier, it might be challenging financially and logistically. And if a player was to come to you and say that to you, what would you say to her? What would your advice be?
First and foremost, I understand. Yeah, I see it firsthand. It's expensive. The flights, the accommodation, the caddies, the equipment, even back home with coaching and training facilities. So it is an expensive game to play. It's an expensive profession to be in. We need to make sure that we are providing good earning opportunities for our players, so that doesn't become a concern, because once you're concerned about things outside of the golf course and the tournament, that's going to impact your ability to perform on the golf course. So I'd love to just take all those worries away, give them really good earning opportunities, and allow them to just go out and play and focus on, ultimately results and winning and trophies, and therefore, hopefully the financial side looks after itself.
Yeah, I applaud anyone who's a professional golfer, just because all the worries that you have thinking about the expense one week to the next, and actually trying to make the cut and earn a living. In terms of prize funds, tell us about what's happening and where your prize funds are.
Yeah, so at the moment, I think we have some wonderful tournaments with some really significant prize funds. Our lowest prize fund right now on our schedule is €350,000. We've, having spoken to the players, we're going to constantly try and improve that. We'd like to get to at least playing for $500,000 prize purse, I would say, in the next year or two. But not just settle with that. There are, as I say, there are tournaments out there at the moment that playing for, just played last week at the PIF London Championship for $2 million. If we could have more tournaments on our schedule playing to that level, then I think we're doing our job.
And just remind everybody the calendar for the Ladies European Tour. When does it start? When does it finish? Yeah,
we have our schedule in total. We are 30 tournaments in 20 countries. We start in February, March, down under in Australia. We've just added a new tournament in New Zealand. So that will be added to the Australasia schedule, the swing, starting in February, March next year. Then we go through Africa. We had a new tournament in Mauritius this year. Then we come into Europe and sort of play through the heartland of Europe. We've just had 3 weeks in the UK. And then we finish the season in Asia. So we're out in China, Korea, India, and Taiwan. Yeah,
to even get one new event is a lot of work, isn't it? To get that New Zealand event, how many years in the planning was that?
Yeah, it takes a lot of work, and it's not just on our side. We're working with the federation. In this case, it's New Zealand Golf, who've done a wonderful job to bring that tournament back onto the schedule. I believe they played it previously over a decade ago. So yeah, been a lot of work to bring it back, and Dame Lydia Ko is going to come and play, which is
Dame.
Yeah, which is wonderful. So it's not easy getting new tournaments, and but I think if you look at the great job that the tour have been doing before my time, I credit my predecessor Alex Armas and the team for doing this. If you look at where we've come in the last 5 to 6 years, to get to 30 tournaments is a wonderful achievement, and there's a nice flow to the schedule. As I've just explained, the quality of the golf courses is getting better. We're working with the RNA and their agronomy team to do that. Again, we're trying to provide more services outside for the players across the health and wellness, and we do that through our LET Performance Institute. I think we're definitely moving in the right direction. The momentum is good.
Absolutely.
We just need to continue that.
The LET Performance Institute, I'm super impressed with. What's the feedback been from the girls and ladies?
Yeah, I think we are leading the way in
Yes.
terms of providing those services to our players at our tournaments. So not just at our tournaments, they have access to these support services away from the tournaments as well. But what's really exciting for me, it's not just providing great services and world leading in terms of the advice that we're able to give, but we're also giving opportunities for female practitioners to come into that whole area of the industry and work with our athletes. We've got institutional, academic, universities and research groups that are coming in and also using it as a base to improve our understanding of what we can provide and how we can advance the whole world of medicine and all that physical and mental support through golf. So I'm proud of the way we're leading the way on that.
That's great. I'm impressed. Data. We all want data, don't we? The girls want data. The Why Golf podcast is brought to you by Skyscanner, the ultimate travel hack that searches billions of prices on flights, stays and cars so you can feel confident you'll always find a good deal. The LET now has real geographic growth. The scale is, as you've alluded to, is growing from strength to strength. What's the next stage of growth, do you see?
Yeah, I think for us now, always trying to keep growing, but also trying to make sure that the current product is sustainable, and make sure that we are generating revenue into the tour that we can then reinvest into the product, but also really focusing on our fans and growing our audience and improving the way that we engage our audience. So I think when I look at fans, I kind of look across all those sort of fan-facing elements of what we do. So our live broadcast product, our non-live, everything we're doing across our digital and our social channels, our website, our apps. Also the experience that we provide to fans on site at tournaments. I think if we can really improve what we're doing in that whole area, we can start to grow our fan base. And then once you grow your fan base, we can start engaging with them in a more impactful way. We can start telling those stories better than maybe we or even better than we have been doing, because there are so many amazing stories on tour, aren't there? You see these amazing world-class athletes out there week in, week out, producing some brilliant golf. But I'm fortunate that I also get to sort of hear the stories of how they got there and what else is going on behind the scenes. And I think the more people that can hear those stories, the more they're going to kind of buy into our sport and buy into the LET and keep following us in the future.
No, I totally agree. And I love what the LET is doing in many aspects of, your digital content, online content and the TV broadcast. I love it when Gabby Partington walks down the fairways with the players and Iona Stephen brings some of the stories to life. But so it's building on all of that because, as you say, these girls, these women have got incredible stories, and having children and being able to travel around the world with youngsters or basically making it up as you go along with motherhood a lot of the time. But having that support from the LET is so vital. But could you learn from other sports? Do you look at other sports and how they're telling stories?
Yeah, we absolutely can. And you look at the Red Roses, you look at the Lionesses, and maybe women's tennis is probably the sets the benchmark in terms of
Very
the
good,
prize
yeah.
money that they're playing for, and integrated with the men, and so on. So yeah, absolutely, we will learn from other women's sports. We'll also learn from our counterparts at the on the men's side of the game. We're certainly, my relationship with the DP World Tour, is having spent the last 7 years there, is a good one. So I'm already talking to Guy and to the team at the DP World Tour. How can we be more aligned in what we do? Similar conversations with the RNA. We have a great relationship with the LPGA. So again, how can we all work together to learn from each other and ultimately make sure we're aligned, because I think that is so important in our game, that we're all kind of moving in the right direction and helping each other. So it's whether it's our own sport, within our own sport, or with other sports. I think that's there's a lot to be gained from that.
But as you said, if you look back 5 years of how far the tour has come, it's pretty remarkable, isn't it? And what you're doing right now of telling stories that you can tell, I think it's really impressive.
Yeah, we've come a long way, and just so many reasons, so many people behind that. But I think two partnerships that have been really important in that is one with the LPGA. We have a joint venture with the LPGA, and so they've been right behind us, particularly coming out of COVID, when kind of the world of golf had to sort of get together and to support each other, and that's what happened. And also, I would say Golf Saudi. We've had a really good partnership with Golf Saudi, and they've certainly, with the events that have come onto our schedule, the prize money that we've been playing for, with their support. I mentioned the PIF London Championship last weekend. I mean, it was a brilliant finish, a brilliant event. We had good crowds, a great finish on Sunday. We had Charlie Hull going down the stretch against Anna Huang. Anna eventually won. That's her fourth victory as a 17-year-old, which beats the record previously held by Lydia and Gino. So really exciting. I think our viewing figures on Sky on Sunday were the second biggest ever, behind the AIG Women's Open. So our audiences are growing, and as I've mentioned on Sunday, the peak that we had shows that more and more people are watching and following women's golf.
How do we sort of reach out to those who are not involved in the golf world or don't consider themselves as golf fans? That's the challenge, isn't it?
It is the challenge, and I think that comes back to our point about all those various touch points, whether it's broadcast, whether it's our non-live and social, the experiences that we provide on site at our tournaments. And there are obviously some big moments during our season, whether it's our majors, whether it's events like the PIF London Championship last weekend, and obviously the Solheim Cup coming up, and I'm sure we'll get into that. But it's making sure that we use those opportunities to grab a new audience, get new people hooked in, but then it's even more important to try and keep them
definitely
through everything that we're doing.
Keep them. It's just like when girls start sport, it's actually keeping them in the sport, isn't it? That's the challenge. So keeping fans engaged in a sport is the challenge. What would you like to say to a player in 3 years' time who's coming on to the Ladies European Tour? What would you like her to experience, I should say?
Yeah, first and foremost, I would like her to experience what I believe everyone experiences right now when they join the LET, and I'd include myself in that. That lovely, warm sort of welcome that you get, that family feel that you get from being on the road week after week, traveling from destination to destination. That sense of everyone, we're all in it together. I don't want that to ever go away, but I think also, and it goes back to our earlier point, I want players coming onto the LET to have an opportunity to earn enough money that the money doesn't become a concern and a distraction. We talked about how expensive it is. If we can provide enough funds, prize money, that they are earning a good level, that the cost of playing doesn't become a distraction, and they can focus more on their golf, what they're doing on the golf course, playing well in tournaments, making cuts, winning tournaments. That's
Yeah.
ultimately where we'd like to get to.
And getting on to the Ladies European Tour, how important are the Access Series pathways?
So important, and I really think that LET Access Series is a sort of undiscovered or under-heralded part of what we do. We have 19 tournaments in 14 countries on our Letas tour.
Goodness, yeah.
So in terms of providing pathways for players, and we've seen so many success stories of the players that have come through the Letas tour onto the LET and then onto bigger LPGA, potentially even Solheim Cup. What the Letas tour allows us to do is work with federations in all of those different countries, and the federations are also doing a great job and providing pathways onto the Letas tour. That's what it's all about,
Yeah.
is providing opportunities for players to firstly get into golf, but then make their way up the ladder and go as far as they want to go.
I'd like to mention the Rose Ladies Series as well, because my dear friend Kate works incredibly hard, along with Justin. She's a whirlwind of energy and activity. And how helpful is the Rose Ladies Series?
Fantastic, and there are so many great programs out there. The Rose Ladies Series, I think, is a wonderful story, and I caught up with Kate's team at Birkdale a couple of weeks ago, and had exactly that conversation. You know, I love what you're doing. How can we support you? How can we be more aligned in what we're doing?
Because women, they want events, don't they? Want to play in as many events as they can.
Absolutely, they do. So we need to support programs like that. Do what we can to help them grow. And I would also go back to the Faldo Series. There's always been men and women. So the opportunities that Nick has been providing for 30 years, again, is wonderful. So we'll do as much as we can to support there. Annika has her Annika Invitational, and again, tournaments all around the world for young female golfers, and many other programs like that. So the more that we can work together and be aligned and create this pathway for young women golfers to make their way in the game, the better for all of us.
Tom, we have the Solheim Cup coming up, which is
do.
super exciting. What does it mean to be taking the Solheim Cup to the Netherlands for the LET and for you personally?
Yeah, well, for me personally, I do have some roots in the Netherlands.
Oh,
yeah,
great.
my grandmother was Dutch, so that's a nice.
Was she?
Yeah.
I know one sentence in Dutch. Hoe gaat het met je? How are you? Do
Well,
you know any?
you know more than me. I
There
have
we
I have a Dutch middle name.
What is it?
It's Jan, which.
There we go. Oh.
But so that's as far as it goes. But it's been nice. I've been back a couple of times. So. But more importantly for the LET and women's golf and the Solheim Cup, I think the Netherlands is going to be a wonderful destination. We know how much the Dutch sports fans get behind their big events.
Yes.
You look at the F1, you look at football, their football team. So I'm really excited for from that side of things, but also the venue itself. I had the opportunity to go down to Bernardus about 6 weeks ago, and it is an amazing venue, great golf course.
I've heard such great things.
Great golf
the whole
course.
team have been, from what I got and said, it's brilliant. Yeah.
Really good course, but also beautiful clubhouse. The owner Robert there has done a wonderful job, and we're extremely lucky to have him, you know, as our partner on this Solheim Cup. But I know that you know, the structures are going up at the moment. So whether it's the first tee grandstands or the hospitality, the viewing areas around 18, it's going to be a great venue and a great country.
Yeah. What do you want the event to feel like for a fan?
I want them to be blown away.
Yeah.
I haven't been to a Solheim Cup before. I've had the.
Oh, you're in for a treat.
Yeah, I am.
Yes.
I've been lucky enough to go to 3 Ryder Cups, and
First tee is pretty special, isn't it?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And to answer your question about what do I want, certainly first timers to the Solheim Cup, I want them to go away having had the most wonderful experience, and hopefully some of those will be non-golf fans, that they come along because it's a big sport event, but actually they go away thinking, wow, this is great. I'm going to either follow golf or I'm going to play golf. And even more so, going back to our point about pathways, and inspiring the next generation. I think the ultimate success for us would be that someone is there on that first tee, experiences that atmosphere, follows the tournament, has an amazing week, and then thinks, actually, I want to go and play golf, picks up a golf club, comes into the sport, goes through the pathway, and comes back and is playing the Solheim Cup a few years later.
That's what it's all about, isn't it?
That's the dream scenario.
I do get very excited. My daughter is a big golf fan, and she met Nelly Corder, so the wrong side. Well, not the wrong side. She met Nelly Corder, who she is obsessed with and has a signed visor, but now will watch Nelly Corder on television the whole time. And that's what we want, don't we? That link, that connection. And Bridget's coming out to the Solheim for the weekend, so we'll see her on the first tee. And what impresses me so much is their athleticism and their demeanour and how they hold themselves, which is so inspiring for youngsters to be able to see. You know, when we see Charlie Hull on a tee, Bridget will watch Charlie and go, wow, Mum, she's so cool. So that setting the scene, sort of imprinting it in the minds of youngsters is key.
Yeah, role models are everything. If we're going to grow our sport, and again, it goes back to this point about bringing in a new audience and then keeping that new audience, the best way of doing that, I think, is having these role models that are amazing athletes on the golf course, producing the most incredible quality of golf, but also amazing role models off the course.
Yeah, which is what goes back to storytelling and getting their stories across, isn't it? And the team itself has been picked.
Yes, it has.
What do you make of the blend of youth and experience?
Yeah, I think it's a really strong team, isn't it? We had a great day in the Sky Sports studio the other day. We were there for when Anna was announcing her picks, and so I got to spend a bit of time with 3 of the 4 rookies, which was Mimi and Julia and Nastasia, and it was so lovely just spending time with them behind the scenes, seeing the excitement and the energy, and they cannot wait to get going. They're so thrilled to be picked, and I can tell I'm excited to see that they will bring that energy to the team room. So the blend is a good one, and I think we've got a really strong team and a great captain. I have to say, Anna Norquist has been a wonderful captain. She's got a great team around her, and I think they're going to do great things.
Oh, I love Anna. I think she's incredible. And also for the rookies, there's no scar tissue yet, so hopefully go out and play with freedom. I mean, it's a game that gets into the mind so much, isn't it? So I really hope Mimi and the girls go and do really well. And we've got Leonie Maguire with the experience, one of the picks, which is great.
Exactly. Then Lottie Woad as the other rookie, which
hardly rookie.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to believe.
Which is what Amy Bolden said on our previous episode of Why Golf.
Yeah.
I mean, she's come on to tour and just smashed it left, right, and centre. It's hard. You don't really think of her as a rookie, but she is.
Absolutely. Yeah. She'll be a great asset to the team.
What makes the Solheim Cup so different from a normal Ladies European Tour event?
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that the Solheim Cup is one of those moments in our sport that transcends. It brings in those fans who wouldn't normally watch golf on a week in week out basis, and that's why it's so important, because once we've hooked those people in, once we've given them that amazing experience, whether it's watching on TV or watching in person at the golf course, that's then our opportunity to then retain them and keep them in our sport and keep growing our audience and have them watching week in, week out, not just once every 2 years.
What is the one moment outside of the competition that you're most looking forward to?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I'm just...
A good meal in a Michelin star restaurant in Holland, possibly, because my friend is a member there and she said, oh, there's some beautiful restaurants. You won't have time to go.
I probably won't have time. Do you know one thing I'm really looking forward to is the Ping Junior Solheim Cup, which is being played during the week. It's been
Monday,
played
Tuesday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And at Bernardus on the same golf course, which we've not done before. The Junior Solheim Cup has always been played in the same week, but it's normally at a different venue.
Yeah.
This is the first time that we've played it on the same golf course. So I think that's going to be a great upgrade to the experience for all those players. That's something I'm particularly excited about.
And to have that experience, the juniors going out, and we're going to do a kind of first tee experience for them as well, because I'm on the first tee, and hopefully sort of rallying the crowds and getting them going. So that will set the scene for them, won't it, for future Solheims to just recreate that atmosphere.
Definitely.
Hopefully.
Yeah, and I think Mimi Rhodes spoke about that on one of your previous podcasts.
Yes, yeah.
That she'd had that. She'd played in a junior Solheim Cup, had that
Set
first
you
tee
up.
experience, and she went away thinking to herself, right, I want to be there one day, and this year she will.
And when that last putt drops on the Sunday, if you're looking back at it, what would you say is a lasting success from the week?
Yeah, I think there will be some immediate metrics that we can look at, whether it's the number of people that were there on site at Bernardus, number of tickets sold, and the numbers are looking really, really good at the moment. So that will be an early indicator of how successful it's been. Also, the numbers through the broadcast, number of people watching. This will be broadcast in more than 150 different countries to hundreds of million households around the world. So understanding those figures will be important, not just the live broadcast, but also the non-live, how much engagement through our digital and social channels. So those are the sort of usual metrics that you look at in the short term. But I think long term, it'll be a while before we truly understand the impact of a Solheim Cup, which I really believe is significant. But it goes back to my point earlier. I think if there's someone there that is just there as a casual fan, but actually goes away having had such an amazing experience that they then want to get into our sport and ultimately end up playing, and as I said, maybe one day playing on the LET, one day playing in the Solheim Cup, that would be ultimate success.
Yeah.
But that takes time for that to happen.
No, it's over the years that will. I'm hoping that happens.
Yeah, me too.
3-fold, 6-fold, 10-fold, whatever.
Me too.
How do you take the attraction of the Solheim Cup and to a regular tour event? How do you create that at a LET event?
It's not easy because the Solheim Cup as a team event is by that nature is different to what we do on the LET. But
I suppose it's creating the buzz at the Solheim, which then feeds into other events. Whether it's 10% or 20% of the interactions that you have at the Solheim feed into other events, but you want some percentage to feed in, don't you?
Absolutely, you do, and that's why we've got to get all our. It goes to my previous point around the opportunities that the platform we're providing for the players. So making sure that our players are able to go out and produce great golf, great competition. If we can get that product right, then the people who, they've watched the Solheim Cup, they've bought into the idea of watching more golf, they tune into the LET next week. If we're providing a great product on the golf course, hopefully we can keep them. But equally, if we're providing a great product through our broadcast, through our other fan engagement channels, the experience at the golf course, should some of those fans come back and want to watch another one, if we can get that all right, do that properly, then hopefully we can keep them engaged.
Well, I'm going to be part of the fan engagement to the Solheim Cup, actually, Tom, on the first tee. We're planning lots of things. T-shirt cannons, you might be in the audience, you might want one. Competitions as well, and sort of interviews on the first tee. So fans go away, hopefully, and go, wow, that was pretty special. And I remember those few things.
Brilliant. Bring it on.
Bring it on, basically.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Love it.
So we're going to move now, Tom, to our Clubhouse Curveball questions, which sometimes I'm not quite sure who writes these, but no, these are good ones this week. They're a great team. I'm only joking. There's 3 questions in total. What is the best piece of golf advice that you've ever received?
I am going to refer to a recent piece of golf advice.
Not about a flying right elbow or anything.
No, nothing technical, because that would be wasted on me.
Okay.
I am going to refer to a conversation I had not that long ago with my predecessor, Alex Armas. So when I was approached about this role at the Ladies European Tour, she gave me some great advice throughout. But the one thing that she said that really stood out to me was, look, Tom, these roles don't come along very often. And I think you should take it. And here I am. So that was a great piece of advice, and I'm grateful to her for that.
Love that. Seize the day. Carpe diem, isn't it?
There you go.
What is the most memorable place that golf has ever taken you?
That's a really tough one because
so
it
many.
has taken me to some amazing places. If countries around Asia, around the Middle East, to some of the cathedrals of our sport, whether it's St Andrews, Augusta, so many amazing places. But I'm going to pick one which is slightly random, but it's a golf course called Himalayas Golf Course, and it's in Nepal. And we were in Nepal for a Faldo Series tournament. We'd taken it to Nepal for the first time, and they took me up to this golf course. You fly up to Pokhara, and it's right up in the mountains. You stand at the clubhouse and the first tee, and you play a couple of holes, fairly innocuous holes, and then you come to the third tee, and you're looking down at this huge ravine with the rapids flowing through it.
Wow.
The third hole, the green is right down there at the bottom. You play down, and then you wind your way through the ravine, playing the holes. It's so primitive. The mowing is done by the goat and the sheep. We had a local that came round with us and would suddenly dive into the bushes or the lake to find the golf ball and show us around.
Yeah.
And
Brilliant.
you finish and you come back to the top and you sit at that clubhouse, and remember just having a cold beer and looking at this backdrop and the scene below me. And it was one of the most magical experiences.
Wow. Can we all go? I'm not sure our budget will allow it.
If
maybe.
anyone who
Why golf travels abroad?
Yeah, look, it's in terms of accessibility and affordability, anyone can play it, and it's dirt cheap to play. It's very
just trying
primitive.
to get there.
Getting there is a bit more a bit more difficult.
Brilliant.
But if you can, I wholeheartedly recommend it.
I will be Googling as soon as I get home. Now, if you could build your perfect golf event in terms of location, format, and top 3 players from any era of golf, what would it be?
Yeah, look, we have some great formats in our game, don't we? We just talked about team golf with the Solheim Cup and Ryder Cup. But for me, this is just personal. I love Sunday afternoon at a major. I just love the back nine coming down the stretch. So I would kind of somehow create that as the format. I don't know what it is. So we're putting ourselves on the back nine of a major.
Back nine or something.
Yeah, and I'm going to pick 3 players who are and were amazing at that, going down the back nine, but 3 players that I've kind of been fortunate enough to have connections with over the years through this business. One would be Sir Nick Faldo.
Yeah.
The other one would be another 6-time major winner, Rory McIlroy.
Not a bad choice.
And then the third would be a 10-time major winner, and that would be Annika Sorenstam.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. So let's just create some kind of Sunday back nine, those 3 going head to head.
I think that could be a television show. I'm going to start producing it already with Al. Great. Thank you, Tom. Now, a question we always finish on with our guests is why golf? Why are you involved in this sport? Why do you play it? Why do you love it?
Yeah, I would slightly reframe that. Given I don't play a whole load at the moment, I'm going to reframe that and say why work in golf.
Okay.
If I may.
Of course you can.
And so many reasons, as we've alluded to throughout this conversation. It takes you to some amazing golf courses, some amazing destinations around the world. You get to see these world-class athletes in action, whether it's the men, the women, the golf that they produce is phenomenal, isn't it? But also the community, the golf business community is a really good one. You work with some amazing people. We have an amazing team here at the LET, and I've been part of some amazing teams in my previous roles. And you make friends as well as colleagues and clients. That's something that certainly I feel strongly about with the golf business. And ultimately, it's fun. And I've been doing this for 30 years now, and it doesn't feel like 30 years because I enjoy what I do. And if you can do something that is fun, it makes life a whole lot easier.
Definitely have fun. That's a great motto for life. Tom, thank you so much, and good luck in the role that you've only been in nearly 4 months. And we'll see you at the Solheim.
Can't wait. Thanks so much, Di.
That is all we've got time for on this episode of Why Golf. If you like what you've heard, make sure you subscribe on your favourite podcast provider. We're also on Instagram. Just search for This Is Why Golf, and on YouTube as well if you search for Why Golf Podcast. The Why Golf Podcast is brought to you by Skyscanner. I'll see you soon.